Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. This is AIScientistX.com. Today I'm going to tell you about the Coursera course on generative adversarial networks, which is super cool. I am partway through it. These pictures are from a website called thispersondoesnotexist.com. These people do not exist. Their faces were generated by generative adversarial networks. Generative adversarial networks consist of two parts. One of them is a generator and one of them is a discriminator. The generator is in charge of generating an image, and the discriminator is in charge of measuring whether that image is realistic or not. When building a generative adversarial network, you build a generator and a discriminator, and they duel, they fight it out to learn together, one to generate realistic images and the other to tell the difference between the generated images and the real images. Here's an example of a slightly more advanced application of generative adversarial networks. You are able to animate paintings. So in this top case of the left-hand side, you see a famous painting, and then we have a video clip of a person talking, and the GAN is able to animate the painting into the video of the face of the person talking. Similarly, right below it, there's a painting of Frida Kahlo, and then there's a person talking, and we're able to animate the painting of Frida Kahlo. People have done this for all kinds of different things. There's animations of Marilyn Monroe, there's animations of Albert Einstein, and also this gentleman along the bottom, who I'm not sure who he is. I thought he was Rasputin, but he's not Rasputin. This next slide is of another application of GANs is image-to-image translation. In this application, you can take an image and change the style to be something else. So for example, this black and white image becomes colorized on the top left. On the bottom left, a image gets colorized and also gets translated from day to night. So this kind of image-to-image translation is another cool thing that you can do with GANs. And on the top right is an even cooler idea in which you take a line drawing and it automatically converts it to a realistic image. There are really cool examples of this in the course lectures. There's really cool examples of this in the scientific literature on GANs, and lots of examples where they draw a simple diagram, and then the GAN helps you to make the art be a more beautiful landscape. Here's another interesting example from the literature on GANs. You write a description. For example, this bird is white with some black on its head and wings and has a long orange beak. And then the GAN automatically generates a picture of a bird for you. These are two different approaches from the literature. Or on the right, this flower has overlapping pink pointed petals surrounding a ring of short yellow filaments. And you can see that there are two different images that it can generate. So this is a pretty cool branch of AI that is developing. And in the course on GANs from Coursera, you're able to get a little bit of a hands-on experience with it. A programming exercise that you actually do in the course, and it's about controllable generation. It's about taking an existing photograph and adding a smile to it. So this is actually an image from the paper. The one that you actually do in the course is here, and as you can see, it's definitely less clear. I think what it is that in the course notebook, they just don't have enough compute effort behind it. So you're not really going to get the beautiful, realistic generated images that you see in the papers. So that's just something to keep in mind going into the course. Your generated images are just not going to be as beautiful as what you see in the papers because you just don't have the compute budget. And that speaks to the larger point that I think we can learn about GANs from doing the programming exercises. You really need big, beefy GPUs. As another example of what I'm talking about, this is another programming exercise in which you need to generate the digits of MNIST. So at the top image is the actual digits for MNIST, and along the bottom are the images that result from the programming assignment. So on the left is the initial image, and you can see that it's very fuzzy and very unclear. And then eventually they improve and improve and improve. And on the far right, it's about as good as it got in my programming exercise. So definitely not as clear as the full version. Other applications of GANs that are described in the course are data augmentation. If you've ever struggled with not having enough data to train your neural network, you can use a GAN to generate more data with a lot of variety and a lot of diversity. Another possible application is de-identification and face anonymization. So, for example, if you have a police footage of a person being mugged or robbed, and you want to protect the identity of that person, you can actually use a GAN to overlay a different face onto the victim, and that way you protect their identity. You learn a lot about how to evaluate GANs, a lot of typical evaluation metrics like the Frechet inception distance, and also some work on the active research area of bias. Overall, I think the course is very interesting, and you're going to learn a lot about the theory, and you'll also learn enough to get you started on how to program them. However, I do think the applications part of the course was a little bit weak. As I showed you from the results of my own programming exercises, frankly, there's just not enough compute power in the Coursera notebooks to really generate state-of-the-art images. So that would be my only complaint, that although you learn the theory quite well and it's instructive, that you don't end up having the satisfaction of generating these crazy images like what people show. The course program so the course programming assignments never so the course programming assignments never really show this level of beauty of transformation of you have a line drawing and it gets converted to a photorealistic bag, or you never generate these like super beautiful images. So that's my summary of the course. It's interesting. It will point you to the right literature. You'll learn the theory. You'll get your fingers um, starting to know how to program these things, but you won't be generating the latest and greatest state-of-the-art results. I hope this was helpful. If you like this kind of content, be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks.